Where on earth did Bran Stark go during the Battle of Winterfell in Game of Thrones? The final showdown between the living and dead was an action-packed romp through they. But while gendry, so, what was Bran actually doing in the battle? The final showdown between the living and dead was an action-packed romp through they. But while gendry, so, what was Bran actually doing in the battle? In typical Bran fashion, he cryptically told Theon that he simply had to go and glazed over. While Bran might not have been the most dynamic character in the show, give the poor lad a break, he is wheelchair bound, he's already been a major player in political machinations. From giving area, it's pretty clear that Bran will remain one of the big movers and shakers of the series, but what this will entail, we're still not sure. Perhaps, it might be that Bran still has some meddling in the past to be getting on with. There have been plenty. The fact that the Night King died and Bran didn't seem to put paid to the long-held fan theory that the two characters are actually the same person. But that doesn't mean. One Reddit user has posited that since the Night King seemed to embody all the qualities of the Great Other, the god of darkness and evil and the faith of RHLer, then Bran might just be the Lord of Light. The Redditor also points to an 2017 interview with George R.R. Martin, where the author compared Beric Dondarrion to a white. His heart isn't beat. This seems to suggest that he is just as capable of raising an army of the living, and the theory goes that Bran is actually behind everything that has happened so far, including characters such as Jon Snow and Beric Dondarrion being resurrected. Other fans are convinced that Bran is actually evil. The lingering gaze. What's more, the Night King had touched Bran just as he had touched Krasner's baby and the Dragon Vice Ryan. Could Bran actually? Copyright Telegraph Media Group Limited 2019.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.